Have you ever felt like creativity is, this elusive magical force?
Oh, definitely. Like it only strikes a lucky few.
Exactly.
Right.
Or maybe you've been stuck in a meeting where brilliant ideas just seem to get lost, couldn't break through the noise.
Yeah, totally. Just fizzle out.
Well, welcome to the Just and Gab podcast.
Where we try to, well, unpack complex ideas.
And distill them into something useful, actionable insights for you.
And today we're getting into a really fascinating book. It's Creativity, Inc.
Ah, the Pixar book
Yeah?
by Ed Catmull, the co-founder.
That's the one written with Amy Wallace. And it's so much more than just his story, right?
Right, and more like a blueprint.
Exactly. A deep look at how they built this culture where amazing ideas aren't just accidental.
They're actually nurtured, almost engineered.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Okay, so our mission today then is to pull out those core lessons from Pixar, from like the shape of their meeting tables,
Believe it or not.
all the way to how they manage people.
And see how you can maybe apply some of this stuff.
Yeah, to unlock that creative spark in your own work, maybe even your life. So where should we start?
Well, you mentioned the table. Let's start there. In the meeting room.
Okay, yeah. So for 13 years, Pixar had this conference table, the West One table.
Infamous, almost.
Right. It was long and skinny, and Catmull eventually figured out it was this huge kind of invisible barrier.
Yeah, think about trying to connect with someone way down the other end. It just doesn't foster real conversation.
It basically set up a hierarchy without anyone saying a word. People at the ends just couldn't jump in easily.
He even said, we had utterly failed to recognize that we were behaving contrary to that basic tenet, meaning open communication.
Wow. So they weren't practicing what they preached, essentially.
Not in that room, no. And the aha moment came, apparently, during a meeting at a different table.
A square one.
A smaller square table, yeah. Suddenly, the whole dynamic shifted.
People could actually talk to each other.
Exactly. More fluid, more equal participation. The space itself just leveled the playing field. People felt safer jumping in.
But get this, even after realizing the problem, fixing it wasn't instant.
Oh.
Catmull decided, okay, replace the long table with a square one. Makes sense.
Right.
But then, the next meeting, he walks in and his quote is great. He says, "The table was adorned with the same old place card."
Well, wait, still marking out the hierarchy.
Yep. The habit was just too ingrained. It actually took another colleague kind of to go and row.
This taking initiative.
Yeah, to finally just grab the place cards and get rid of them to really break that pattern.
Wow. That really shows how deep these things can run. It's fascinating, isn't it? How something as basic as seating can shape team dynamics.
Total.
And it makes you wonder, right, for you listening, what are those invisible barriers, like the place cards, maybe hindering communication in your world, your office, maybe even at home?
That's a great question.
And, while changing the layout helps, does it fix everything?
Probably not on its own.
Right. Can a square table solve deeper issues of, like, trust or inclusion? Or are there underlying cultural things that are maybe the bigger hurdle?
Good point.
Yeah.
There's often more going on beneath the surface.
Definitely.
So, okay, the physical environment matters. A lot, apparently. But what about the mindset behind it all? Where did Catmull's drive for this kind of thinking come from?
Well, his inspirations were kind of interesting. A real mix.
Yeah.
He looked up to Walt Disney, obviously.
For the animation, the storytelling, the tech leaps.
Exactly. But also Albert Einstein.
Einstein, that seems different.
Right. But it was about Einstein's way of rethinking existing ideas, pushing boundaries of understanding, finding new ways to see things.
Okay. So innovation from different angles.
Precisely. Catmull even said, both Einstein and Disney inspired me, but Disney affected me more because of his weekly visits to my family's living room, through the TV show.
That makes sense. One was abstract inspiration, the other was right there, tangible.
And his background shows this blend, too. He actually doubted his own drawing skills early on.
Oh, really? The founder of Pixar?
Yep. So instead of art school, he went into physics and computer science. University of Utah, which was a hotbed for computer graphics back then.
Smart move.
Totally. And he did groundbreaking work there, developing algorithms for computer rendering. He even made this, short animated film of a digital hand, way ahead of its time.
Wow.
And that experience really cemented his vision of, marrying technology and art for filmmaking.
But trying to bring that vision into the real world wasn't easy, was it? Like when he approached Disney.
Oh, definitely not. He faced a lot of skepticism. Disney was, very traditional animation methods.
The computers felt alien.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It highlighted this huge gap between the old ways and what he saw as the future. It's that classic struggle for any innovator, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell a completely new way of doing things.
And this connects to something else Catmull realized about management itself.
What's that?
That fixing one problem often just uncovers another one.
Ah, like peeling an onion.
Exactly. You solve issue A, and suddenly issues B and C, which were hidden underneath, pop up. It's not about finding the solution.
It's more about constant adaptation.
Right. He stressed the need for a clear observation of what works and what does not, which, as he also said, sounds a lot simpler than it is.
I bet. Seeing clearly what's really happening versus what you think is happening.
Yeah. He put it like, this is the nature of management. Decisions are made, usually for good reasons, which in turn prompt other decisions. It's a chain reaction.
So, thinking about what this means for you, listening, Catmull's path shows that real breakthroughs often come from mixing things up, right?
Yeah, blending different fields, like his art and science thing.
And just constantly watching, observing what's actually working instead of just sticking to a plan that isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, how could you maybe combine some unexpected interests or skills in your own life? Could that spark something new?
It's a powerful idea. And, Catmull's vision was key, but he couldn't build Pixar alone.
Right, it's always about the team.
So how did he build those creative teams? He learned a lot early on, even in his first research lab jobs, about what makes management work or not work.
And one of the big lessons seems to be about hiring,
Yeah.
right? Especially hiring people who might even intimidate you a bit.
Yes. That's such a core Catmull principle,
Right.
letting go of ego. His first boss, this guy Alex Shore, was unusual.
How so?
He didn't have the technical chops himself, but he trusted Catmull completely to build the team. He brought in key people like Alvy Ray Smith.
Another big name in computer graphics.
Exactly. And Catmull had this moment of realization about needing to hire people smarter than himself.
That takes guts and humility.
It does. He said you should always take a chance on better, even if it seems threatening. He admitted he was scared hiring Alvy at first,
Wow.
but then he reflected, the act of hiring Alvy changed me as a manager. By ignoring my fear, I learned that the fear was groundless.
That's huge. Overcoming that insecurity unlocks something.
Totally. And that philosophy shaped the early culture at NYIT, the New York Institute of Technology, where they worked before Lucasfilm.
They had a flat structure there, less hierarchy.
Yeah, very flat, big emphasis on openness, sharing knowledge. That really fueled the innovation.
Even when competitors were being secretive.
Especially then. Their transparency was a strength. And Catmull drew a major lesson from this. He said, to take full advantage of a team's potential, managers must be willing to give up control.
Give up control. That sounds simple, but it's probably one of the hardest things for leaders to do.
Absolutely. It requires real trust.
So here's where it gets really interesting for everyone listening. Letting go, trusting others, even seeking out people who challenge your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How can you apply that hiring smarter idea? Maybe not literally hiring, but to the influences you let in. Are you seeking out ideas that push you?
Or just sticking with what's comfortable. It's a great self-reflection point.
Definitely.
And this whole idea of collaboration, of needing the right mix of people, became super critical as they moved forward. At NYIT, they were building amazing animation tools.
But something was missing.
Storytellers. They had the tech, but tech alone doesn't make a compelling movie.
Right. You need the why, the heart.
Exactly. So they realized they needed to partner with actual film studios, people who understood narrative.
Which leads to another key insight from Catmull, doesn't it?
Oh.
About story versus polish.
Yes. This is fundamental to Pixar's success, I think. He realized, often the hard way, that the emotional connection of the story trumps how perfect the visuals are.
He talked about that early short, The Adventures of Andre and Wally B.
That's the one. Technically, it had flaws. The rendering wasn't perfect by later standards,
But people loved it.
they were captivated. Because the story, the characters, had charm and emotion. Catmull's quote on this is gold. For all the care you put into artistry, visual polish frequently doesn't matter if you are getting the story right.
Story first. Always.
Pretty much. But even with great stories and new tech, there was another hurdle. Getting people to actually use the new tools.
The buy-in problem.
Exactly. When the team joined Lucasfilm, the traditional film editors were resistant.
Understandably, maybe. Their whole workflow was being disrupted.
Sure. But it taught Catmull's team a crucial lesson. They needed, in his words, buy-in from the community we were trying to serve.
You can't just force innovation on people.
Nope. He said, without it, we were forced to abandon our plans. If the users don't embrace it, even the best tech fails.
Another hard-won lesson. And this was all happening while things were kind of uncertain at Lucasfilm, leading them to look for buyers.
Right. Financial pressures, creative struggles. It was a tough period.
And then comes Steve Jobs.
The pivotal meeting. Jobs saw the potential, didn't he? That blend of tech and art.
His explosive energy and vision, as Catmull put it.
Yeah. And that led to them spinning off, becoming independent. Pixar was born.
Finally. After all that struggle, Catmull said, the gestation had been trying, but the feisty little company called Pixar had been born.
Quite the journey. And if you look at that whole evolution, it's so clear the path wasn't linear or easy.
Not at all.
So connecting it all together, what really stands out to you from that journey? Is it the focus on story above all?
That's huge, yeah.
Or maybe the need to get that buy-in? Or just the sheer resilience they needed?
All of the above, really. It's a complex mix. So we've really unpacked quite a bit from Creativity, Inc. today. We look at how physical spaces, like that table, shape how we interact.
And how blending different inspirations like Disney and Einstein can spark something totally new.
Then there's the power of building teams by deliberately hiring people smarter than you are, facing that fear.
And ultimately, that core truth story and getting people on board often matter more than just having the slickest tech.
Absolutely.
You know, Catmull's whole experience at Pixar just hammers home that creativity isn't some magic lightning bolt.
Right. It's something you build.
Yeah, it's a result of intentionally building a certain kind of culture, constantly learning, being willing to adapt, even when it's really uncomfortable.
Which leads to a final thought for you listening.
Yeah.
What's one invisible barrier, like those place cards, or maybe one ingrained habit in your own life, personal or professional? What's one thing you could identify and maybe commit to removing this week just to see if it unleashes a bit more creativity or collaboration?